That 4th of July day, that's when the land you're standing on became the U.S. of A. United we will stand, but divided we fall. One nation under God says it all. Men are created equal, words written in by hand. They all stand to fight when a cry for freedom rings. Freedom isn't free, it comes with a cost. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all. This whole world's changing, it's changing every day. For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up everybody, stand proud and tall. One nation under God says it all.
Good evening and welcome to IITW Radio. It is, what's the date today? The 24th of 2019, 7/24/2019. Before I get started and we bring my co-host on, I want to thank everybody for the get well wishes that you sent. It was overwhelming to see that many people actually give a crap. But thank you very much. My hand is bandaged up. They took a 3.5-hour surgery on my hand and a 3.5-hour surgery on my back. So bear with me tonight because I've got 110 stitches in my back and a messed up hand. But as always, thank you guys and gals for writing in and giving me those get well wishes. I really do appreciate it. And tonight we have Greg Williams on the air as always. Instead of Tuesday night, we've had to move it to Wednesday night because I was incapacitated yesterday. I was a doped up cracker. How you doing, Mr. Williams?
Great.
What a crazy week.
Be alive.
Oh man, I'm telling you. This whole cancer thing. Everybody out there needs to wear sunscreen. My son asked me the day, he goes, Dad, why didn't you wear sunscreen when you were younger? I said, you know what? They didn't have it.
There you go. Well, hey, it is what it is. Hey, wear it now, though. Keep wearing your hat. It's probably a good idea. I've had a little bit taken off of mine, top of my shiner once or twice. So, gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm going to look just like you here pretty soon because I'm going through the chemo. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have the
Call
whole
me Cook.
Greg Williams. I'm just going to lie and tell everybody we're brothers.
There you
Yep.
go.
That was Austin or Calvin O that opened up with Brother in Arms. I want to thank Calvin
Hey.
for giving us the music to open up with every time we have our political stuff. Great song, by the way.
That is a good song.
I wished everybody believed that was here in this country.
Hey. I like to begin the show with the simple pronouncement that CNN sucks. They really do suck. And the misinformation is hard to stomach. And then Channel 4 up here in Duval County, CNN affiliate, CNN wannabe, CNN copycat. So if you make the mistake of turning off of Fox or Newsmax or a legitimate news channel and you go to your local news, you can be sure to hear CNN and all their lies and fake news on your local provider, Channel 4. They do a great job on local coverage. They start talking politics. It's the same crap you hear from the talking heads at CNN, the misinformation, the lies that have been going on for 3 years, and it's still going on. I was offended last year to learn that everybody that supported Trump is a racist, according to CNN and MSNBC and NBC and ABC and they fake news media. Thank God that Trump's exposed it. The whole country can see it. I mean, we see it, and you can't believe hardly anything you see on the news anymore. I mean, you know, there's some human interest stories that tend to be true, but a lot of this political stuff is completely agenda driven, and it's sad. It really is. We deserve better here, you know, in the states. So I wish Congress would go and get some work done.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
You know, take for example this marijuana issue. They're trying to make it where you can do some banking because it's legal in a lot of states, and it's legal in medical marijuana is like legal almost everywhere. And then there's other legalization movements that are even beyond medical. Well, any event, so they can pretty much agree to get off the Schedule 1 so they can regulate and tax it. But guess what? The Democrats don't want just that. They're going to kill the whole bill because they want everybody who was ever arrested to have their record expunged. They want this, that, and the other. They can't just solve the problem. They've got to go ahead and create another handful of things instead of solving the problem, which is the problem with big government. You know, they keep saying, oh, you need more government to solve your problem. Well, I'm afraid not. I want less government, and I want to be able to solve my own problems without government.
Well, I'll tell you what, did you see where Mark Espen got confirmed as the defense secretary by the Senate? Did you see what happened on that?
No, tell me.
He got confirmed 90-8. Guess who would not confirm him or give him confirmation?
Oh, probably Schumer, who's in bed with intelligence. Remember, Chuck Schumer threatened Trump, said, oh, you don't mess around with intelligence, they'll mess him up. And they sure have tried. Thank God that Trump's strong. Our crooked intelligence and that crooked FBI, it's a disaster, and it's still not cleaned up.
Kristen Gillibrand, let's see, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, basically the four that were running for president this year.
4 people that will never become president if the country's lucky.
Yeah, did you see where all the deportations what happened on a Sunday? The past Sunday?
Wow.
It was like 2,000 of them got rounded up. And you got a bunch of people, and I have been getting emails like crazy about this, saying, oh, they shouldn't do that, they shouldn't do that. These people were already convicted and were supposed to have been deported back during the Obama days.
The law's got to mean something, folks. It's got to mean something. And, you go through the process, and if they've deported you and you keep coming back, remember, these are the people that keep coming back. They have criminal convictions, and then they kill people. Okay? I mean, that's where all your angel moms are. Heck, there's probably been 1,000 people murdered by illegal aliens in the last 10 years. I don't know what the number is, but it's substantial.
Yeah, and
Did you hear where Twitter tried to ban an angel mom because she supported Trump?
Yeah.
I mean, Twitter's out of control, and I'll tell you right now, Twitter, it wouldn't be crap if the president, if Trump wasn't president, Twitter would be garbage. I'm not on Twitter. I don't like the whole 140 things, but the Trump uses it as a way to get his message out, so there's probably some effect to it. But, man, I just don't like the fact that as soon as Obama sold the internet out to foreign interest and gave up the internet, which was free exchange of ideas and information, then guess what? Now communist China runs the internet the way the communists want to run it, not the way that we run it. There is no free internet. Now you've got the internet oligarchs here in our country limiting free speech. I mean, they don't want to hear it. It's all about groupthink. They don't want to hear any conservative ideas. They don't want to hear what made America great. Well, frankly, I'm glad that the people see through it. And it's up to the people to keep Trump in power because he's looking after us, not after big tech. And big tech doesn't give a damn about any of us.
No, I'm telling you. Yeah, a couple of things. Besides the illegals, I got to give shout outs real quick here to Miss Debbie, Jolie. Got to readjust my chair. Something's going wrong with my piston. Anybody want to buy me a new chair? I'll be happy to take it. And Jackie, how you guys doing tonight? Always have to give those first 4 of the shout outs because they're always the very first ones to pop on. And thanks. I just, Jolie said, I'm looking good. You're the first woman that's told me that in 100 years, Jolie. Anyways, yeah, they arrested him. And then, did you see, they still have the 23, you guys were talking about Irish and British before we got on air, you and Chris. Say hi, Chris. That's my IT guy. Chris keeps everything up and running for me and Greg every night, along with the rest of our staff. Yeah, he does. He does a damn good job. Smart. I couldn't, I don't know anything about all the stuff that goes on here in front of the screens. But the Iran still has 23 British that they're holding hostage. Does it remind you of anything?
What it reminds me of is how weak the Brits are. I feel so sorry for that country, a once proud country, a country that once arguably ruled the world. But guess what? Their navy's so weak because of the Brits went soft a long time ago, and the socialists over there, what do they call them, the Labor Party, whatever, they sold their defense out. They don't really do much of anything, and they're weaker than Iran. That is pathetic. I'm waiting. Where's the commandos? Where are the British Burqa? Send a 25 Burqa down there to clean up the mess and get your boat back. I mean, how weak is Great Britain? Another thing about Britain that I don't like, aside from their being weak, I like Boris. Hopefully, he'll make Britain great again. But because there's no great in Britain with Maggie May or whoever the hell she was. Um, Another thing about Britain, they, aside from being soft, they really have a problem with their media. I think they're like a one or two channel media company, and the BBC is just as bad as CNN. I mean, they definitely have an agenda, and they're almost anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
Uh, for whatever reason, the BBC caters to the Muslim interest over there in Great Britain,
one of my
and so
favorite.
they're afraid to call a spade a spade. But go ahead.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies was it. Did you ever catch the Kingsman movie? The Kingsman, the young kid. It's
Yeah, pretty good movie.
yeah, it's not like that. I wished it was. But um, did you see this
Oh, you
week?
take guns away from your country, and you get a bunch of third world people moving in. Next thing you know, you got a knife attack problem.
Did you see this week? Just about, actually in the last few days here, where the cops up in the Bronx and up in Harlem, where these guys are throwing water on the police. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's pretty disrespectful, unless there's more to it than meets the eye. I mean, that's pretty respectful. I thought the police officers showed great restraint. Here in Jacksonville, you could get shot doing that.
you come to Putnam County and do it to one of the SOs down here, I
You
guarantee you,
get
or do it
shot
to
doing that.
FHP.
They'd say that was, they'd try to say that's a second degree felony down here in the South.
I tell you what, I love our sheriff's department and our police departments and stuff. I think these guys and gals do a great job. Hello, Travis.
There are a lot of good
Um,
people in law.
but if I ever saw somebody hit a cop in the head with a bucket while they were arresting somebody, I'd probably get arrested for going and whipping that guy's ass.
All I saw was water being thrown on a police officer who was really restrained, just walked away, walked right through it.
He was a young kid, and they interviewed him. I can't remember who it was that interviewed him, and the kid was talking about, well, we can't do anything, because we're going to get called a racist. And one of the women that they interviewed on there was saying, well, it was all in good fun. Tell me when it's in good fun, because she said, oh yeah, it was hot, and we had the outages and stuff, and the cops needed cooling down. Since when does it become fun to get hit in the
There
head
you
with a
go.
bucket?
Well, there's the side story. I mean, if it's 110 degrees and maybe they needed a cool down, maybe they were a part of it. But no, it seemed disrespectful to me.
Diane said, good evening.
Good evening, Diane.
But yeah, when does it become okay to get hit in the head with a freaking bucket? And for you people that are
I
writing
don't
in
think
about if we're going to get into tonight about Mueller and stuff, oh yeah, I'm just getting some of this other stuff out of the way
Oh,
because
I'm glad you brought up Mueller. My two words: fragile, uninformed, major disappointment. I mean, what they do, they got some brain dead old man to hire a bunch of Trump haters and let them write a one sided report because that's what it sounded like. And then when Mueller sounds like Comey, I don't recall. I can't recall. I don't recall. The guy left out omitted. Then it comes out that other people lied to him 3 or 4 times and he wouldn't charge them. He was only looking, Mueller represents the deep state. Mueller is the deep state. The Democratic Party largely is the deep state. The mainstream media, the DC media, they're all deep state. We have a major deep state problem, and I'm hoping that Trump can continue to clean it up. Okay, I feel better about our Department of Justice. We've got a sharp guy in there. Hopefully, he can get rid of the people that don't belong there. The FBI still seems to be a work in progress. I hope they get that straightened out.
yeah,
America's lost a lot of confidence in their agencies,
Yeah,
And a lot
before.
of this is Obama's fault for screwing it all up, hiring communists to run the CIA. Brilliant move. Almost as brilliant as Pelosi putting those idiots, AOC and her three running mates, I don't know, the Iglabob, whoever that freak is, and an Omar. Um, I mean, you put those people on national defense committees and all this intelligence. Really, the Muslim Brotherhood, loving, anti-American. I don't care what they say; they're not for America. These ladies are nuts, and thank God the president went after them. That is the Democratic Party. They're a scary bunch.
Yeah,
They want to
before.
rewrite history. They're crazy.
Yeah, before I jump on that, Patty wrote in and said, "Yeah, thank goodness they arrested the three goons this afternoon that threw water on the cops. I think there was a whole lot more, but
Good,
they should arrest
good.
hell half of them down there." Anyhow, now I'm going to move on to the stuff. Yeah,
Amen.
did you get a chance to watch the Mueller thing today?
I watched a little bit of it. The guy came off very fragile. He was very, very brittle, fragile, unimpressive, and then he couldn't recall any of the tough questions and didn't want to answer a lot of the Republican, questions were what the country really wants to know. But some things came out, and I will tell you, I'm more unimpressed with the Mueller report than before he came on.
Well, you talk about the deep state. 2 days before Comey, or not Comey, I'll get into that idiot in a little bit. But 2 days before Mueller went in, actually it was the day before he went in, he went and talked to Trump, and they were discussing a position as him being the head of the FBI. The next day he gets confirmed as special counsel. That right there should have been a conflict of interest.
There was so many conflicts. That's not the half of it. The guy's going in there with fake FISA warrants. He was the insurance policy. He was in bed with Strozak and all these other people. When he said he didn't know Strozak was a hater, a Trump hater, that's a friggin' lie. Every damn one of those people were not friends of Trump. They were all friends of Hillary. They all had their knives out, and they were looking for lies, and they were looking to set people up, and that's what they did.
Well, yeah, you had Weissman, who is a henchman. This guy's he's had cases overturned, by the
Time
justices.
and time again. I can't believe he even has it. It is what it is. But I guess in America, if you're that incompetent,
He should have not even have been on there. Plus, he was at Hillary Clinton's.
From all accounts, but you know what? I just don't like the idea of treating people that poorly.
Well, he was at.
I mean, what they did to Manafort, I thought was a little over the top. He's an old man. Okay, you don't have to treat him so poorly and put him in isolation for all this time like they did. They were very draconian. And let me tell you, the scary part is this: if they can do it to the president, they can do it to anybody.
That's exactly
But
right.
talk about a setup. It was a setup from the get-go. And you know what? The Russians have been meddling in our elections since World War II. And guess what? We meddle in their elections. We have Hillary meddled all over. She was all about getting rid of Putin 2 years earlier. So what comes around goes around. But the fact is the Russians didn't decide who was president. The Americans decided who was president.
Yeah, and when they asked Mueller if there was any evidence of anybody being persuaded by the Russians in their voting on which way they went, his his famous thing was, "I don't recall that." And how did he say it today?
I like it where he remember when he answered the question wrong in the morning session.
I can't speak
and
to
they're
that.
all thinking, "Oh, here's the smoking gun," and then at the beginning of the afternoon session, he walks it all back and says, "No, I was wrong on that. Mr. Lou is wrong on all that."
Well, here's what gets me. Now, this is what gets me. He's got Steele, and he's got Carter Page.
Didn't look into
fake
Steele
dossier, which he's the one that was in on the third FISA warrant that was completely unverified. For people that don't know, a guy named Metzer is the one who originally started all the stuff. Turns out he works.
3 times to him.
Yeah, it turns out he's an informant. They sent him to go and collude with the Russians to set up Carter Page, which Carter Page didn't fall for it. And then that's where they ran a whole fake dossier off of.
I know. And there was a big circle of misinformation, almost like what happens in America on a daily basis. You get like New York Times runs a bogus story, a story chock full of lies, unverifiable, a crappy piece of propaganda against the president. Then guess what? CNN covers it. MSNBC covers it. ABC covers it. Then your local CNN affiliates cover it. Then 2 days later, there's a retraction because it was wrong. So
Well,
what they do is they put fake news out, and then all the fake news people cover the fake news story ad nauseum until it's obviously proven wrong, or they just move on to the next fake news.
now I want to know
And
why.
thankfully, most of the country sees through it.
I want to know why when Mitzer lied, they lied to the Mueller investigation. They lied to the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA. Why wasn't Metzer, since he was the very first one, why was he not incarcerated right then? He's also
Well,
the one that leaked, and Comey as well. Now, Comey went out.
for the same reason that Weinsman or whatever the guy's name is allowed to operate. I mean, he's allowed to encourage people to lie. I mean, that was a guy that said, "Please lie, I'm the president, so we'll go easy on you." Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Now, and
See,
Mueller,
that's
his
the
famous thing was,
mentality of him. This was all about setting up the president. This was the insurance policy. All of this was an exercise of the deep state. And you know, this guy Napier is dirty. He's a dirty guy, and he's crooked as is in ship. I mean, their statements. They thought they had something, and that was the highlight of their thing. Their little misguided narrative, and that was it. And after that, it was a dud.
have you had a chance to read the Mueller report yet?
I haven't read the entire report and don't intend to.
Oh, I read the whole thing.
Read Barr's summary, and I thought that was pretty well written.
Let me tell you, on volume 2 of Mueller's report. Okay, now volume 2, he mentions, and he did it all with media stuff. He did it with newspapers. With
Yeah, I know they're circulating the same story, and to
that's
use that to justify their ridiculous deep state plot against the president.
yeah, that's where he came up with a lot of his stuff at. So when they were saying collusion, 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 now the whole thing was about obstruction today. But yet there was no collusion, so how can there be obstruction? You know what? I don't blame Trump for being pissed off, because if they're
Nobody
accusing me of
has
something
got a
false,
right mind. And the main telling question was anything done by the administration to curtail your investigation? No.
nope.
Okay. The president is vetting, saying to his counsel, and the president's not a lawyer. Can we fire this guy? That's not an order to fire the guy. I mean, they're talking about different scenarios because it was a crock. The whole thing was a crock.
Well, I think
Mueller should have never been appointed, and Comey should have been fired day one. And I don't know what Trump kept him around as long as he did.
Hey.
Comey was.
What Comey did by leaking classified information and saying that it was a professor,
Go down the road.
when it wasn't a professor, the information that he leaked, that guy was a spy, implanted into the Trump organization, and then leaked the information so it would come back on Trump. Now, I don't blame Trump for being pissed off, and I don't blame him for telling anybody. That guy should be fired. Fire his ass, because he's going to do just like I do in business.
So that's part of their obstruction, because he fired a crooked, corrupt FBI director. And let's call a spade a spade. Comey was corrupt. What he did for Hillary was an epitome of corruption. I don't know how much the foundation, how much money's gone back and forth between Comey and the Hillary Foundation. But all of that, even though I hear it's all drying up now, but there's a lot of corruption involved in all of it, and it just makes me want to throw up thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing stinks to high hell and back. And I remain biased on everything. But when it's the facts on something like this, now there's a lot of stuff that CNN's not reporting, MSNBC, even on Fox News. And what's his name on Fox News? This guy, I don't like him either.
Shepard Smith is terrible.
Shepard Smith.
Fox News
Hello, Linda.
There's a couple people that run the president down every day on Fox News. Okay, you never see anybody on any of the other stations ever running anything but people running the net. I mean, this guy's coverage is like 95% negative, yet the people love him because they know that they're being lied to by the deep state media.
Yeah, so for you people that say I don't ever say anything bad about Fox, there you have it. Shepard Smith, that guy.
He's a
And
douchebag. I don't like Trevor Smith any more than you do.
I met him down in Orlando before he was ever with Fox up there. I met him down in Orlando. He lived in the same freaking apartment complex that I lived in. I didn't like him then, and I don't like him now.
Yeah, well, I wasn't very impressed. I don't like his style. He reminds me a little bit of that idiot that's on at 9 o'clock, Lemon.
Oh, Don Lemon.
Yeah, he's another piece of work.
Yeah, but
you know, things are going great for the president, and they are, when the Democrats spend weeks at a time saying he's a racist.
You know what cracked me up?
Back to that whole OAC thing, he was directly, specifically talking to those four people. He's not telling Americans to go back to to wherever they're coming from. He was talking about four anti-American lunatics that have no business in Congress. The people in Minnesota that elected her are idiots. I wouldn't live in that district for all of them. If they're electing people like that, they're losers. If people in New York elect people like OAC, they're losers. You know, the state of New York has elected Hillary Clinton. What a joke. This Jill O'Brien is a joke. I mean, what do they think the senators are there for? Okay, I guess what to push liberal agendas every damn day? It is a joke what's going on in New York. And then that Omar.
Well, you can kill a baby in New York, too, and get away with it.
Awesome brotherhood. I don't trust Omar at all. I wouldn't trust her with one state secret. And I hope she's a one-termer. She's a joke.
Well, you know what cracked me up this afternoon? I got to say hi to Linda and Dale that just joined in. Shifty Shift up there.
The idea that you can't criticize someone of color without being called a racist is anti-American, okay? And as much as the left is.
Well,
something Antifa.
Somebody had said today, oh, yeah, Trump told him to go back to their own country. No, he never said go back to your own country because go back to where you come from, straighten out the mess, and then come talk to me about it. So
you wouldn't know it from the mainstream media, though, because they're all in for the lie. The mainstream media, again, we all know who they are. They're all about the big lie and telling the lie over and over again, but people have already seen it. They're not credible. They're propagandists for the left. The mainstream media is essentially the mouthpiece of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party's lost the war of ideas. All they can do now is call Republicans racist. And that's their whole strategy.
The AOC plus 3, you know, they're all standing up there, and they have now accused Biden as being a racist. They've accused Pelosi. I mean, everybody, you know, they got off of Trump, went to their own party now.
They got on Trump, man. It was all about Trump's a racist. Not only is Trump a racist, all of his supporters are racist. That is garbage. But that's exactly what the left does because they have no ideas.
Well, the one gal sitting there saying, if you don't know how to be black, before it had nothing to do with race. Then she's saying, well, if you don't know how to be black.
If you're not black enough, don't talk.
Yeah.
If you're not brown enough, don't talk. That's a bunch of racist bullshit right there coming from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, hey, you know, Martin Luther King had it right. It's not the color of your skin; it's the character of you, the person that matters. It's not the color of your skin. But you know, the Democrats are all about identity politics. Gee, well, I hope it comes back and bites them in the ass.
Martin Luther King's got to be rolling
now, Al Franken.
Martin Luther King has got to be rolling over in his grave right now with what's going on.
You know, the divisiveness. I will tell you that Obama did more to hurt race relations in this country than anybody I've ever seen.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Here was a president that was half black, half white, could have brought both sides together, but he never referred to himself as half white. It was always, I'm a black man, you know, the black this, the black that. And I'll tell you what, the cops right now that are getting water thrown on them, that goes back, and I put that off on him and his administration, because when they started bashing police officers, yes, there's a couple of bad apples, but you don't go and bash everybody in, in Congress or anything, and any job or any field where there's people, because there's always good and bad, and no matter what you do.
I agree.
But just because one person, and I told this young girl this today, because one person drinks and drives and kills somebody, that does not make all of us alcoholics. Hell, I don't even drink. And, and if they really want to get into all this crap, take cell phones away from people that are 16. Don't let them have them. If you were trying to save lives and you want to bash people, but because one 16-year-old or 1,000 of them get in car wrecks because they're texting. The rest of us can't be on our phones now when we're driving down the road. Like if I hold a phone up to my ear,
Let me
I'm
just
getting
say
a ticket.
this: distracted driving is dangerous. I don't. There are a lot of accidents from people looking down their phone. There's probably a better way to go. I'm as guilty as anybody. Sometimes I'll fumble through my phone while I'm driving down the road. You got to be careful.
Hey, if you ever get a chance, Kathy just joined in. If you ever want to meet one of the coolest airline stewardess in the world, Kathy Andrews,
Yeah.
Kathy Andrews. I think she works for, is it Southwest, Kathy? Kathy, we'll give you a shout out here and give your company, but she's cool as hell. If you ever get on a flight with her, she is one of the coolest people in the world. But I don't agree with what's going on. Kids, if you watch kids play on the playground, I've said this a few times, they don't really know race. You put babies in a room together, they'll play together. The only time there becomes freaking division.
Kids get along fine. It's basically, unfortunately, a lot of this racism now is being taught.
It's taught.
It's part of the Podesta memo. It all goes back to the libs ruining our educational system, dumbing down the population so they can, do their mind control. They want us all to be consumers and sheep while they bleed the country and make millions, i.e., the Clintons.
And I'll tell you what, there's so many between actresses and actors and politicians. I'm really getting pissed off lately. Did you see the woman in Georgia? And I'm not going to say what kind of government she's in or anything else. She gets on Facebook and Twitter the other day, boo, and YouTube and all this. Boo, this man called me a racist, or told me to go back from my country.
Yeah, and I know. It's her go-to
it was
line.
a white honky. And it turns out,
in criminal cases now where people are going to the race card, they're lazy.
Yeah.
And they're making stuff up.
Well, the guy that she accused of being a racist and a Trump supporter, it's funny as hell because not only is he not a white cracker, he's a Cuban.
Spanish.
He's a devout Democrat, and he hates Trump with a passion. He said that, quote unquote.
He may have to reconsider because that's what his fellow anti-Trumpers are all about.
And then she backtracked after that. So
well, maybe this will show. Maybe this guy can maybe come to the other side.
Now I did some research. On this gal. That's not the first time she screamed racism. She's done it 3 times now, 2 or 3 times.
That is the Democrat Party calling card. Man, that's all they're about. That's all they have. Without racism, there's no Democratic Party. They have to stoke racism to survive. It's sad but true. And frankly, I'm past it. We all should be past it. How about getting educated? How about getting people where they can read and write and know what they're doing and be competent in some area somewhere? Okay. I mean, it is what it is. We all want to, have the finer things in life. Got to work for it.
Yeah. Well, I've got one of my boys is, and I'm probably going to get labeled a racist now for calling him a boy, but he's still, he's Colombian. He's just as much my son, but he's adopted.
That would say that was racist.
Yeah, just because I call him a boy.
I know. And it's not racist, okay? It's unbelievable that these idiots, and for Channel 4 in Jacksonville really galls me. They are terrible. The CNN feed is terrible. You're presenting yourself as a local news channel, and all you do is spew CNN. If I want to watch CNN, I'll turn it on CNN. Frankly, I wish I didn't have it on my television. It's so bad.
Kathy said, Kathy Andrews, said yes, it's Southwestern. And then she put heart you. I don't know if she wants to hurt me. No, I just love you. Love you too, Kathy. The whole racism thing is getting out, but I want to get back on this Mueller report because, when you have Mueller sitting up there, first of all, now I'm not picking on the Democrats here, so I'm just putting out the facts.
Leave that to me. Go ahead.
I'll leave the Democratic bashing you. But every Democrat that I watched today, not one of them asked about the phony dossier. Not one of them asked about Strzok and Page. Not one of them asked about Metzer. Not any of them asked about anything except for Trump was trying to, collude.
Yeah, for making blanket statements based on allegations.
Yeah, excuse me. I need to spike his water with vodka. Some of the questions I get. But it was all about obstruction. Now, there was no obstruction because there was no crime. The whole thing was falsified, the dossiers, everything. But Mueller, I just thought he looked pitiful. I mean, for 74
Very
years old.
very brittle, very fragile, very incompetent looking to me.
But you know what? When I think it was either Nunez or one of them asked him, you know, how many interviews did you sit on? Well, you know, I don't know. Not many. How can you not set in on interviews? And how can these people that are being interviewed, not be able to be cross-examined? I thought the judicial system.
He's got to have deniability. Weissman uses Gestapo tactics in his interview process.
Oh, yeah, look what they did to General Flynn.
He should not be allowed to be a prosecutor, in my opinion, but I'm just a little criminal defense lawyer here in a small town. All I'm saying is that guy uses Gestapo tactics, and there's probably a reason that Mueller didn't want to be around.
Well,
my other theory is that they're all getting, that whole crew got over on Mueller, that Mueller's not playing with the full deck. Mueller hadn't had a full deck in a while, if you ask me, from what I'm seeing. Mueller looked dumber than Joe Biden today. He looked dumber than Joe Biden, and that's pretty hard.
Yeah, well, man, the times already went by quick. Can you believe it?
Did you hear my comment that Mueller looked dumber than Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure they hear that.
Yeah, we got 9 minutes left, but I wanted to get, and we'll pick it up back on Tuesday night. But, you know, when Mueller said that there was.
Go next Tuesday, right? We're doing next Tuesday.
Yes, we are. When Mueller was before a judge up there, the judge asked Mueller for evidence of Russian involvement, and he told the judge that they didn't have any. And now that's in the report, and I forgot to write which page it was. But for anybody out there, I would suggest that you download the report and read it, and then ask yourself a few simple questions. Why did he refer, if he couldn't talk about anything, and he had to talk about the four corners there that he was only going to talk about, yet today he did not talk about, and look it up, guys and gals. You look up Strzok and Page, the lovers from the FBI. You look up Rosenstein. You look up Bruce and Nettie Orr, who was giving, Nettie Orr was selling or giving, she was buying information and stuff. And you look all this up and tell me there's not a deep state.
Let me tell you, they knew about that. Mueller is the deep state. He was there to protect the deep state. He was there to protect Comey.
James Comey even went in and told him it was not verified.
Comey's crooked. And to be honest, I think Mueller's compromised. I don't think Mueller's all there. This is the same guy that allowed Waddy Bulger to kill untold people because he was, unquote, a government informant. You know, what Waddy Bulger was allowed to do, Mueller was largely responsible for, from the research that I've looked into and what I've been told and what I've heard. Now, they don't want to talk about it too much, but there has been credible research on that. And then they say Mueller was maybe involved with Epstein, you know, on some of those deals. And Epstein apparently is you know, he was very crooked himself, and he may have been a source for the FBI, which is terrible. I mean, again, that's what the FBI will do, apparently. I'll tell you what, that was a once proud institution. And I was never a big fan of J. Edgar Hoover, but because he was corrupt. You know, absolute power corrupts. Maybe they just need to have not so much absolute power over there.
Yeah, now, the last thing I want to jump into, because we only have like 6 minutes here, is the House Intelligence. Oh, Swalwell.
Is that an oxymoron?
Yeah. Anyways, about Trump meeting with Putin and stuff. We're going to get into this on Tuesday night. But the one thing that I want to say, Shifty Shift up there talking about Trump and collusion and stuff. Wasn't it Shift that sat there and was talking to a radio host and thought he had dirt from a Russian informant?
Yeah, he was colluding
about Trump up there peeing.
I mentioned that earlier, but they don't want to attack him because he's doing his thing.
I'm not scratching my butt, by the way. I'm lifting up my chair. The piston keeps dropping down. I don't know why. It's a brand new chair. But Shifty Shift is up there saying all this stuff about him colluding, and the whole time he thought he had information on Trump pissing on hookers in a motel room, which turned out to be false. And he was colluding with what he thought were Russians, but yet
Get
there's
more
a double
information to
standard
get
there.
somebody yeah, I know. I mean, the way they want people to lie is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I'm disappointed in Mueller. I'm disappointed in that. I know some prosecutors that think a lot of him based on his reputation in the past, but I don't think they know that much about some of the cases he was involved in. The guy's an institutionalist. Apparently he'll do anything to protect the FBI, like Comey allegedly, covering up all the corruption that they do. But Comey was he was a worst case scenario. This is probably the worst FBI director we ever had. I think Comey may have been more corrupt than J. Edgar Hoover, who was a corrupt FBI director. Okay, if you don't believe me, you can ask the Kennedys.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna give you the last 2 minutes here.
Well, you don't have to give me 2 minutes because I only require a minute. The Democrats are dumb. The Democrats continue to lie to the American people. The mainstream media is in bed with the Democrats. So anything you hear about the president on ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CBS, pretty much deep state material. They continue all the good this president is doing. Nobody wants to cover it. Newsmax occasionally will cover it. Fox sometimes will cover it, sometimes not. All I can say is the president is doing a great job. We need to support him. This is the best president we've had in a long time. And these people that want to put down Andrew Jackson, he was a hell of a president too. And I think that Trump is a hell of a president. And these people that want to, rewrite history and say, oh, Washington was a slave owner or Jefferson was a slave owner, whatever. Well, until slavery was abolished, there were a lot of slave owners, black and white. So the fact is we need to get beyond all of that. Everybody's free. You live in a great country. Go ahead and work and make your way and live your dream, whatever it is. Seek the dream, okay? Try not to get sidetracked on drugs or alcohol. Many people do, but it's all there. We're born equal, but what we do with our lives is up to us.
Yep, well said. Hey,
thank you.
You're absolutely right. We're all born equal, and it shouldn't be a race thing. It should be one person, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for not a few, but for all. And nobody's above the law. That's the only thing that I thought that the Democrats were right on saying, even though they said it in the wrong format.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that under God thing. You know what? It takes more faith to believe there's no God than to believe there is a God.
Well, like I tell everybody,
there's no God.
Like I tell everybody,
that's a hard argument to prove. You cannot prove to me that there is no God. You cannot prove it.
Like I tell everybody, if I'm wrong, no big deal. I've lived a pretty clean and moral life. But if you're wrong, burn, baby, burn. Anyways.
Yeah, well, it's not important in your life, but I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, good seeing you. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work. I hope you continue your speedy recovery.
Yeah, the hour went by way too fast tonight. So we'll see you on Tuesday night because we got a buttload of stuff to go over.
All right, and send me a copy of that fine publication you're writing. I want to read one of your issues.
Okay, yeah, all you have to do is go on to The Putman Way, go on Facebook, type in...
I'm not on Facebook. I don't believe in Facebook.
All right, I'll print it off for you.
It's almost impossible to delete a Facebook account. Maybe you could talk to your people about how do you delete a Facebook account. I'm not on Facebook. Don't intend to get on it. I don't like Zucker. I think he's a dirtbag.
I'll probably get kicked off the air for that now.
Well, anyway, have a great day.
All right, Greg. Thanks. All right, we'll see you later, buddy.
All right.
That was Greg Williams, attorney at law. Good guy. A lot of you don't like him, but he says what he feels to be true, and that's what matters most. Do your research and know what your candidates are, know what the policies are. I've got there's a Democrat out in Montana that I like. I'll probably wind up voting for him. Who the hell knows? I like his policies and stuff, but I like Republicans, I like Democrats, and there's some independents that I like. Do your research and know your candidates and know who you're voting for. That's the most important thing. And don't put up with a bunch of crap and BS. Watch all the channels. Don't just take one side of it. Educate yourselves on it. I want to thank Calvin O for the music. One Nation Under God. What a great song. You guys and gals can go to IITW Radio. Calvin plays on the radio. He's got Jane Hancock. There's quite a few other ones. We have some 6,000 artists that randomly play on your Android phones. That we're still waiting on Apple to approve our privacy policy. I don't know what's up with that. But since iTunes, is it iTunes, Chris, that's getting shut down?
No.
Or they're shutting down? Yeah, I heard it on the news the other day that one of them.
They shut down one of their most lucrative businesses.
I don't know, but they're going. From what I heard, they're going to someplace else now. But anyways, one of them is they sent us a thing on it saying that they're going to be, they're phasing out of that and they're going to something different. I don't know why, but if you go on your regular Android phones, you can go to Google Play Store and type in IITW Radio, and it will bring up a globe. Do we have a picture of that globe, Chris, that you can pop up there? It will show you an icon of a globe. It's a blue globe with white dots all over it, and this is IITW Radio. You can download that app and listen to the artists that play on there. Now, we're not playing top 40 on this. 99% of the artists that we play are young and up and coming artists that right there's the logo right there. Click on that logo. During the day, I don't allow any, we do have R&B, we do have rap stuff. I don't allow any cop killing stuff, any major profanity. On Sundays, we have Christian music. We try to keep it clean, but these are young artists. Some of them are even old, like Calvin, if you're listening, Calvin. Hey, I get called old, man. You got to take it too. But like with Calvin O, his song One Nation Under God, great artist. We've got artists that go from the age of 12 years old all the way up to, no, I better not say ages, but they're older than me, which is in their 60s. Great artists. Support these artists. I mean, that's what it's all about. They're trying to fulfill a dream, and we give them a format on here. We do not charge them for their music. If you want to send in music and you're a band, or you know a band and they're any good, send the stuff to me. Now, if they stink, I hate telling people that their music sucks, and I try not to do that. But if you got somebody that just can't carry a tune in a slop bucket with the directions written on the lid, do not send them to me. I mean, there's so many artists that we go through, and I probably got 2,000 more sitting there for me to listen to. But go on there, and you can vote for your favorite artist. Click on the icon. You can catch it on Facebook. Go to IITW Radio. It's Indigo Tango Whiskey. You can also, if you want to catch the news in Putnam County or world news in there, or county news, we have stuff from all over the state, all over the United States, and all over the world that goes through the THE Putnam, PUTNAM, Way, WAY. Go over there and check it out. Tammy, bust her butt, keeping you guys and gals up to date on the music, up to date on news, all kinds of stuff, events that are going on, not just here, but all over the state of Florida, over in Tampa. We have, this week we hit 14.9 million people on the Putnam Way. For all you people listening on the Putnam Way, thank you so much. I don't know what makes the thing so great. Well, I do. It's the people that read it and the people that support it. We do not charge anything for that. Unlike a regular newspaper, you don't get the news the next day. We do everything over the internet. Everything is done through social media, through our websites, and you get news as it breaks. Not as, who wants to read about whose funeral you missed last week or what happened yesterday when technology is moving so fast. I want to thank Chris and Tammy. Chris is my IT guy, man, whatever you call it. He's a big boy, big man. I'm not politically correct. Throw one more thumb up there, Chris, so they can see your thumb. There it is. Oh, that's not a thumb. That's a bitch slapping hand. Anyways, and shout outs to, I got a shout out to Mama B, Doug Williams just joined in. We're just getting ready to close out. Doug, Kathy, Dale, Linda, Patty, Diane, Travis, Jackie, Jolie, Miss Debbie, Mama B, all you guys and gals. I'm going to stop right there because I'm running really out of time here, real quick, like. And thank you for listening to us. I want to thank. I want to give a shout out to Annette and Audrey, Mr. Steve, Jimmy up in Louisiana. Yeah, I got your phone call. I'm going to give you a call back tomorrow. I want to thank our sponsors and supporters. Keep the advertisement and keep your stuff local. Yes, I buy stuff off of Amazon and eBay and stuff like that if I cannot find it in my county. But I'll spend a few more dollars to support local businesses because that's what keeps our economy thriving in our own little neck of the woods. You should do it in your neck of the woods too. Don't just order a pair of socks or underwear offline when you can run to a local store and buy them. You know, quit ordering food off a line when you can go like to Satsuma Produce or the Stand in Satsuma or East Palatka. You can go over there. They have great fresh produce. You know, some of our stuff, Bob over at Eastside Towing and Collision, the guy does great paint work. Dwight over there, who's a mechanic, has his own business in the same place over in San Mateo. As soon as you go over the bridge, you're right on the right-hand side. You know, if you're a golfer, go down to the Oaks down in Georgetown. Play around the golf. Go in there and say hi to Adam and tell him we sent you over. Or don't tell him, just go in there and don't bother him. But they do have great hamburgers there. Oh, my God, the best food around. And they're cheap. Like $6 for a big half-pound hamburger, plenty of fries. The main thing is support your local businesses. Buddy's Rentals over there in Palatka, Home Furnishings. Different places like that. Support your local business. And one main last thing I want to say here is support your first responders, your sheriff's departments, your, you know, the FHP. Give a shout out to Zach over there at FHP, one of my favorite FHP officers. To, you know, you got people like James up that are volunteer firefighters and Jeff, the twins over there that screw with me all the time. They're volunteer firefighters and even our paid firefighters and first responders. Make sure you walk up and tell them hi, thank them for their service. Even with the sheriffs, and I say this all the time with law enforcement, don't tell your kids to be afraid of the cops or I'm going to have them arrest you. Tell them to walk up to an officer that's sitting at a store or at Woody's. You know, they're all the time over at Woody's. Walk up and take your kids over and ask them if they'll let the cops will let them check it out. Hell, they'll show them their tasers. They'll let them flip on the siren. They'll get on and let them say something over the PA. They're really cool. Get to know them. Don't be throwing water on them and disrespecting them. When you need them, they're there to help you and save you. They're there to serve and protect. So quit bashing them. And to all of our veterans out there, the main thing is our veterans. I take my hat off to you. I salute you. You're what has made this country great and what has given me my freedom and all of our listeners and readers. Thank you so much. And when you see a veteran, whether it's a young man in fatigues in a Walmart or Publix or Winn-Dixie or wherever, walk up and thank them for their service. When you see an elderly man with a veteran's hat on or he's got the bumper sticker that says, I serve my country, don't disrespect a man. His friends, guaranteed you, they've seen friends that his friends have lost their blood on other continents. They have missed Christmases, birthday parties, and all kinds of stuff to protect and to give us our freedom. Make sure you walk up and thank them. Okay, who do we have closing out? Austin Neal, Brother in Arms. Now, this is a great song. You guys make sure you listen to it, watch the advertiser. This song that he wrote about Brother in Arms is about a guitar that he had sent his brother overseas. And this is a wooden acoustic guitar, and I'm going to get him to send me a picture of this guitar. He sent it to his brother so he would have something to play over in, I believe it was Iraq at the time. His brother or one of his friends took a IV needle and inscribed one of the most beautiful scenes you've ever seen in your life of soldiers on the front of this guitar, and they carved it into the wood. The guitar actually went around the world, and it's been played by soldiers to comfort them. And now Austin has the guitar back. And he wrote a song that talks about it. And this is a song that's coming up. Kathy said first responders and vets will always get a free cocktail on my flight. So if you guys are on Southwestern, ask for Kathy. She'll make sure she's going to ease your mind a little bit about it with a free cocktail. Hell, if I get a free cocktail, I'll be on there. I'm a first responder. I responded to your question first, Kathy. All right, guys and gals, we love you. I've got to get out of here. My time is up. We will see you back here Friday night. We've got a great show Friday night about Fort Gates Ferry. We're going to give you the update on it. A ferry that's been around for 239 years. Not a ferry that flies around. A ferry that carries cars back and across the St. Johns River. All right, guys and gals, we love you. Thank you, Tammy, for all you do. Thanks to Marie, Chris, all you guys for helping out make tonight's shows possible, and Greg Williams. I will see you Friday night. We love you. Good night.
See the guitar in the corner, it's the one I learned to play on. Believe me or not, it's been all around the world. It's been back and forth to Georgia, Carolina a couple times. But there's that one trip that takes me back in time. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching the more dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. Well, there are ways among us, brothers in arms. Back to those nights of sitting there, writing letters home, to picking that old 6-string just to keep from feeling alone. Seen some tough times, some crying eyes, but never quit on me. Been through hell and back, even brought us back to where our hearts need to be. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. A different time with my old man, watching the more dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. And there are ways among us, brothers in arms. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching the more dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. Well, there